Good day, YouTube. Today I'm doing just a bit of a quick fun comparison video between Endeavour OS version 22.6 on the left versus Linux Lite, the latest release as well, version 6 on the right hand side here. Now starting off, Endeavour OS is actually based on Arch Linux, whereas Linux Lite is in fact based off Ubuntu and what's called the long-term service release of Ubuntu there. Now let's have a look at the desktop environments, because they are technically built on the same thing, so they are both XFCE desktop environments, but they do look a little bit customized and a little bit different to each other. I personally like the look and feel of the Endeavour OS much better than Linux Lite, but I guess they both have a bit of a start menu with a I guess you'd call it categorizations of apps there. But the main thing there is if you type in what you're looking for on either one, you can find what it is. Ooh, and it turns out Linux Lite is so light it doesn't have Firefox, but that's okay. Let's see if they've got Brave. No, just because I'm in the video. Okay, so they happen to use the Chromium web browser and one other standard one there. Okay, now if we right click, we'll for the context menus, we'll see if we've got the same basic XFCE options for the context menu here. But the main one that I like is the open up a terminal here, so that makes me quite happy. If we jump across to the file managers, we should see the same basic thing. Now these are both very beautiful customized versions of the Thunar file system there. So they are the same, but they do look a little bit different. So I've got a bit of a dark mode / light mode there for Endeavour, which is really nice to see. Their own customized icon sets. Most of the same can be said for Linux Lite there as well. Let's just make that a little bit smaller, but otherwise they are the same. You can right click again, open terminal, and that keeps most people happy there too. Now let's quickly jump into the back end and see what's happening here. So for Endeavour OS, we are running on the 5.18 kernel, so really the latest and greatest there, which is nice to see, whereas Linux Lite is expected to be running on an older kernel, or let's call it a more stable but older kernel, the 5.15 kernel, because it is running again on the long-term release of Ubuntu, so it is expected to have that slightly older kernel. So if you've got really later and greater hardware, you probably might want to choose Endeavour over Linux Lite there. Let's get rid of those updates. Last but not least, now take these values with a bit of a grain of salt, but let's have a look at the CPU and RAM usage on boot up. So on boot up, it's got a nice little shimmy effect there for Endeavour. We are running CPUs, both idling for both of them. Let's see, on the left-hand side for the RAM on boot up, Endeavour is running at 654 megabytes of RAM, so that's nice to see. On the right-hand side for Linux Lite, we are running at 615 megabytes of RAM, so somewhat living up to its name, Lite. Actually, maybe not. If it was really light, it'd be running at 300, 400, 500 megabytes of RAM, which there are many distributions that do that. But still a little bit lighter than Endeavour, to say the least. That's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, subscribe, hit that like button, and I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one.